Welcome to Meet the Polymaker. I am your host, Nightcore, community manager Joel, Polymaker Joel, all of the above. So welcome in everybody. Before we get started, as always, right down there, I am awesome. You are all awesome. Make sure to state that in the chat for YouTube and Twitch. No TikTok. We're back on live on TikTok. Game's not there yet. Working things through. So make sure to type that in. We will be giving away a spool of filament at the end of the show. Get your name entered in now. You can do it multiple times. Gonna give you one entry. But if you don't know if you did it or not, do it anyway. So other than that, if you're new to the show, we talk about 3D printing news and we share or showcase community prints that are shared through our discord.polymaker.com on Show Off Prints channel. And we have many more channels. If you are not on our Discord, I invite you in. There are so many fun things to do, many fun things to learn, and just a lot of good people, whether you're in the hangout or just asking questions, chatting about what you love. We got a lot of applications in there, so come join us. If you're not already there, we welcome everybody, all ages. We are family friendly. We're nice to everybody, and if there's somebody that's not, I have a wooden stick and we smack them with it. So with that said, let's just go ahead and get right into the news. First up is a new product from E3D. This actually just came out today, or just released today, and this is their Diamondback nozzle hot end assembly. Some people I was confused at first. I'm like, wait, didn't they already have something with like a hardened nozzle? Their Obsidian, it's whole different thing. This has got they actually collaborated, of course, with Diamondback nozzle to do their patented PC. What is it? PC. I had it written down. PCD, polycrystalline diamond tips. So basically crystallized little chopped up diamonds on the tip of this. Basically it's going to help with all the abrasive filaments. There's more and more stuff coming out with the nylon stuff, all the different surface effects that have some things in the filament that can grind down a standard nozzle or even a hardened nozzle over time. This is going to hopefully outlast them. Now it's of course a brand new product. We don't know how long it's going to last, as long as we hope it is. I don't know. And the price for this thing is about $165 US. That is a complete hot end. That is going to be your thermistor, your heat ceramic plate, your fan, everything ready to go. They'll have different variations for the X1 and the P1 platforms. It doesn't increase your temps or anything of that nature. If you got an X1E, you get the 320C, and if you have the X1 or the P1, it's still 300C. Main thing is, like I said, it's going to last a long time. With the price compared to, say, a hardened nozzle from Bamboo Lab, 4 to 5 times longer, if that's the case, well worth the money. And then you definitely don't have to switch. If you have a farm, ideal, because then you don't have to touch those nozzles for a long time. They are direct swap ends. Like I said, you're going to have the connector for either the P1 or X1 series, depending on which one you order. So those are available if you would like to get yours in today. Next up, we got Walmart getting into the 3D printing business. Big shocker, Walmart getting into everything. This not so much on the commercial side of selling things, but this is for the expansion of, right now it's their super center in Athens, Tennessee, and they're expanding it to an 80,000 additional square foot facility to house online pickup orders and deliveries. Of course, that is becoming a booming business. You don't have to go walk up and down every single aisle of Walmart, go in to get $5 worth of stuff and end out with 100. Order it online, pick it up. But they're working with a company, Alquist 3D. I've not heard of them in the 3D building arena, so I'm not sure if they're new. I didn't get a chance to research the company itself, but they are combining traditional construction materials and methods with 3D printing. So they have Walmart's got over 200 projects in the pipeline, and that's helping them to determine how fast this 3D printing for expanding their buildings are, and how cost effective it is. So will we see more? As long as these projects are a plus, you're going to see a lot more. And then when you're going to Walmart, you might be able to tell by the walls that it is 3D printed. And next up, first metal 3D print in space. It's a little confusing. I had to read the article. We've printed metal. Well, up there, they have printed 3D printed metal on the International Space Station before. They've done shapes, basically just test pieces. This is the first actual part, so it should actually read first metal 3D printed part. And that's the whole goal of the 3D printing, especially metal 3D printing on the ISS, is to be able to replace or print parts to replace or fix things as needed, rather than having to wait months upon months or years for a resupply mission to get what they need. Ideally, they can do this. If they can do this on the ISS, then ideally we can move that then to, planetary stuff, whether, moon base, be able to build the pieces and parts you need for a moon base, bolts, nuts, and everything else. I'm sure there's a endless supply of things you can make. But something I thought was cool too, I read, is it's not considered AM, or additive manufacturing, like we call it here down on Earth. It's called ISM, in space manufacturing. So I just thought that was cool. They kind of gave it a different label. But again, it's they are actually printing 3 more of the same item, which you see on the picture there. Cannot find, they did not specify what that part is. It's a part, but they're going to do 3 more, send all 4 back to the ground, have them tested, basically make sure that the structure's there, the toughness is there, make sure it's what it's supposed to be. So that's definitely we'll have to keep an eye on that and see what happens once it gets back down to Earth. And next up, we're going to talk about Mosaic. Oh, there we go. Got a message here. Sorry. Mosaic. We've known them mostly for their palettes, their multicolor options. They've had up to now the palette 3 that does up to 8 colors. And once you get them set up, I've got a palette 2 Pro, 2S Pro, whatever it is. There's so many variations. And before all the AMS has come out and the MMUs were fine-tuned a little bit better, that was the go-to thing. It worked once you had it set up. They worked really well. But we're not talking about that that they're making. They're making printers, which they have been doing for a few years, where they've been developing. They have their Element HT, their high temp printer, and then their Array, which you see in the picture here. They're shooting more for the commercial aspect, farms, automation, and that's what we're talking about today. Is they secured $28 million of Canadian dollars, which is now in US probably $1 billion. But either way, they secured a lot of funding and capital to expand the automation for the 3D prints or 3D printers. Does that mean maybe a low cost option in the future for consumers? I'm not sure. I believe their focus right now is commercial and just to expand that for better global adoption. So we'll see where that goes, and maybe in the end something from it leaks out to the consumer and we get some more automation on our end. And last but not least, we have Adidas making 3D printed shoes. We've talked about 3D printed shoes. I have 3D printed shoes of TPU 90, and they work well. They're not the most comfortable in the world, but they're comfortable enough to wear throughout the day for 3 days in a row to events. But these ones are going to be a little bit different. So the ones we've talked about in the past, Zellerfeld, they do, I think it's a DLS type print. The information for these is not out there. It's supposedly not using that same technology. It's possibly something with a polyurethane technology for where they've learned to 3D print polyurethane in a better manner. I couldn't find much on that. Basically, a lot of the leak stuff, they're saying that the cost, and now they took this information from US custom paper for the shipping, that the value was $28 a pair. Does that mean it's going to be $28 a pair in our hands? Highly doubtful. But right now there are the off-white ones. Somebody found the SKU, was able to search it, and they are for sale in Singapore for $170. So if you want to try to import a pair, somebody in Singapore, I'd love to get my hands on a pair, try them out. They do look a little bit more like your standard shoe rather than kind of a abomination of different gaps and waves in them. But we'll see where they go. But like I said, right now they're made in Taiwan. It's going to be called the Clima-Mog, and they do feature the Clima-Cool, which is it's a feature that Adidas has on their current shoes. Just helps wick sweat, of course, with 3D printed shoes. They can squeak and they can mush around and they can make all sorts of noises, especially if you have sweaty feet. So it's looking to cancel that out. But we'll see what the future brings with 3D printed shoes in the marketplace. Now, that was a quick switch. I wonder how I did that. Now to our prints. First off, we're going to show a print that was done by Builder's Mark. This is a model by Sorpix. It is available on Maker World, and it is the TA Firebird. Just a cool, of course, Smoking the Bandit. If you're of age, you'll know what that is. Builder's Mark, of course, I would imagine probably love the show. Hence the reason that he's got the perfect color combination for the print. So awesome print, nice little background setup, and of course, repping Polymaker. You can't do much better than that. Next up, we have Off Axis. He actually had a couple prints, so I was trying to pick one. This is a power armor from Fallout helmet. Mainly, it was focusing on the hoses that you see there. So he actually had made TPU hoses that are able to flex without creasing. They actually look really good, along with an adapter, so you can actually extend the TPU hoses. And I think that might help with the curvature. I think I see him in chat. But just a really cool thing that he designed to add, rather than just a hardened hose to the helmet. And again, he's got some other cool prints on the shelf too, so make sure to check those out. Next up, we have Frankenbee, who has printed a gigantic wolf pouncing. This is modeled by Printed Encounters, available on printables. And this thing is what you see. It's huge. So I don't know if anybody has seen Traxman. He has done one in the past. He's also got a variation of this that's going to be going out in his yard soon. But he's got 2 of them now. So he's going to start a small army of really large wolves. But added lights for effect. I don't know if Frankenbee added the channels for the smoke. I know Traxman's did, but this thing is gigantic. You might be able to see one in a future rep wrap. I know Traxman was able to bring his to Rocky Mountain rep wrap. So we'll see what the future has in store on seeing them in person, but they are awesome. And next up, we have none other than Pez Liz. And of course, what is she going to print something and post it? She's going to print in Celestial. She loves the Celestial, and she utilized all 3 Celestials in this print for the TIE Fighter kit by Kit Kiln, available on Things. And again, just a really good representation of the colors of what that Celestial looks like. So if you guys like those colors, get them while they're hot. They look pictures never do them justice. They're really good colors here, but to see the effect, you gotta have like a macro picture, which maybe we might have updated in the website soon, so you can actually kind of see the surface effects of all of our filaments in a lot better way. But thanks again for that share. And last but not least is random.ae has printed the Mega Lego-like skeleton times 10, so 10 times size. The model is by Julia Ebert, available on printables. And of course, this one's done in Polymaker's glow-in-the-dark blue. So it does have off-white. It's going to have the kind of off-white as a skeleton looks. And then, of course, turn those lights out, and you get a nice blue glow. And pictures like this are very hard to take for the way that, if you're using your camera on your phone, of how to adjust for it. So great picture, great print. Thank you for sharing it. But that is what we have for the prints. We're going to take a commercial break here, and then we're going to be back with our next maker. So we'll see you here in just a few.
Imagine owning some of the best songs about 3D printing this Discord has to offer. Polymaker presents 3D Printing Hits by Silverback and Little D, the best renditions of some of the greatest hits of all time. Hits like Hallelujah, Polly Smooth Criminal, All That She Wants Is Another Printer, Print Away,
There you go, print away.
Still the TD1, All About That Bag, No Stabbies, and Polyman.
It's a file tonight. We're all in the mood to see it extrude, 'cause you've got your printer tuned right.
Reserve your CD today with a special TV offer by going to polymaker.com and paying $39.99. Have your credit card ready. Seriously though, this music was a joke. Go buy some Polymaker.
This is Polymax PLA, the toughest PLA in the world, and today we're gonna put that to the test. I printed this very mechanical model, and we're gonna drop it from the 12th floor. You heard me well, the 12th floor. Let's go! Ready for the first drop in 3, 2, 1. Whoa, that's crazy! Not even a scratch! Let's go and check it closer. Not even a single scratch! I dropped it again from the 12th floor, and still not a single scratch. Buy your Polymax PLA right now!
Performance may vary depending on usage, individual factors, and external conditions. Individual result may vary, not a guarantee of specific outcome. Consult your professional before use. See website for details and limitations. Use responsibly.
Have you had bad customer service with your filament provider? Have you ever gotten a bad spool and never got a response when you emailed the company? Well, that won't ever happen when you reach out to Polymaker. Some people say that no company cares about you. Wrong. 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 If you never got a response after emailing a company that you've worked with in the past, you may be entitled to better customer service. We at Polymaker pride ourselves on good customer service, and we won't ever keep you waiting for a response. Email us now at support@polymaker.com, and we'll get back to you within 1 business day. We'll fight for you.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. I hope you enjoy the commercials. I see everybody always in chat loves them. I've seen a lot of talk about the song ones, the mixtape and everything else. Some people out there watching, you know, maybe have some in the work. So stay tuned, we'll see. But we are here now to meet our next maker. This gentleman is from across the pond, they may say. So let's go ahead and meet him and see who this is. Oh, nope, I gotta add him on. Well, now you know, because the name's there. We had technical difficulties with Streamlabs earlier, so let me get my pro streaming here, and there is Sam Prentice, none other than.
Can't believe it. Did you just, out of interest, did you get to see the phenomenal filament changes that I've just had to do on the printers behind me?
I did not get to see it. Nope. Okay. I forgot when I came in the scene, I had to add you since it wasn't working when we first started.
Right. Well, needless to say, yeah, we've been spooling out over there. So that was an interesting 5 or 6 minutes there. But how are you? You're looking good. I thought I'd go with the suit as well.
Yeah, I mean, we look good. We look dapper. Is that what we would say? We look dapper?
I think so. I'd certainly tip my hat at you if I saw you on a gentlemanly walk to the park or something. Yeah, you know.
There you go. Yeah. I appreciate it. Well, everybody knows who the real Sam Prentice is, but in case they don't, who are you?
Who am I indeed? God.
Don't go in depth on this. Don't take it too far.
What a loaded question. This feels like the time that I saw that psychologist. No. So I'm a content creator on YouTube. I'm from the UK. And I kind of stumbled into all this kind of stuff by mistake. I'm involved with the death racers. I'm involved with the tiny bikes. I like to build big stuff, and I do 3D printing reviews on YouTube. And I'm a first partner for Polymaker, of course. But, you know, all good things are ahead. You know, there's lots of really cool things going on. 3D Printopia. I've got Chicago Share Fest with Creality. I do some public speaking. I do hosting, as you've bear witness to. Hallelujah. And
hallelujah.
You know, yeah, it's been a ride to say the least. Certainly this past 12 months, heading in and out of the States. I haven't even accumulated exactly how many air miles I've done this year, but I've got another 6 flights in and out of America literally next month. So it's going to be interesting.
Just a couple of things going on.
yeah, it's busy old times, but you know, and I saw obviously you brought the news in about the E3D hot end,
yep.
And I've been privy to that as well, so I've got that in one of the machines at the moment, and I've been printing death racer parts with it in carbon fiber using Fibron, of course. So
there we go.
That's
non-paid sponsor.
Pick my feelings. Yeah, it's No, it's good. And what one of the big overbearing issues has sort of been with feedback is that people don't tend to understand the hardships that perhaps you would have had printing carbon fiber sort of 4 or 5 years ago, or all the pre-bamboo era. We've got a lot of people that have come into the community now. They've been printing for 5 minutes and think they know everything. And the thing is, with hardened nozzles and, you know, certainly diamond tip nozzles, you know, the point is that it's supposed to be long lasting, but it's also probably for more kind of industrial applications. So this isn't going to be for your average Joe printing PLA and PETG. This is for hardcore filaments like.
But I'm printing dragons and PLA for the vendor sale.
Yeah, exactly that. So, you know, but it's the I think it's a bit of pill to swallow, especially when you're looking at the cost, you know, like you said, 160, 165 bucks. But you know, I've been printing loads of carbon fiber with it, and, you know, I'm not really going to see the results until it wears out, you know, and then I can go, well, okay, that's how X many hours, and whether or not it's actually worth the investment. So I guess we'll have to wait and see. But for all intents and purposes, it looks good. It works great out of the box. So yeah, really interesting.
Well, and
really
it's two companies too that have a good track record. I mean, Diamondback Nozzles, I've heard good things. I've never used them myself, but then of course E3D has been in it, so I think they kind of know what they're doing.
I think that's and it's a weird combination as well, because you've got Bamboo Lab who have endorsed this product. You've got the relationship with E3D, and then Diamondback is also a nozzle manufacturer. So it seems kind of preposterous almost that the two companies would work together, because obviously they would be kind of rivals to a point. Yeah. But obviously they did the Revo with the diamond tip as well. So, you know, I think there's a good mix of companies that are involved there, and you've got the UK obviously where they're being manufactured, and Diamondback are an American company, and of course Bamboo are Chinese. So, you know, we've got a real good mix across the world there.
The melting pot of the 3D world, right?
Exactly that. But no, it's really interesting stuff. And again, you know, there's more. I think one of the really cool things about 3D printing right now is that if you were doing this kind of 8 or 9 years ago, when you literally just had Enders and CR10s and probably Ultimakers that were kind of too expensive, you didn't really have the flexibility and freedom that you have now, and obviously the choice. So it's been a roller coaster of information. I've been everywhere. I've been to the Prusa factory literally a couple of weeks ago. You know, as you know, I've toured the Creality factories and stuff as well. So to go in and actually physically see that stuff, it's amazing. It's been amazing.
Oh yeah, I'd love to get the chance to see some of the factories. Now, have you been to Polymaker's factory yet?
No, Polymaker don't even send me filament dry boxes.
Well, that must have been before a certain community manager started, right?
It was, so. You know, I had a message from Nick, and he went, so where's your video on the filament dry box? I went, you haven't sent me one. And he went, yeah, I haven't. Oh, sorry about that. So I'm still waiting, still patiently waiting.
Yeah, but I'll have to talk to a guy I know that has some pulling the company now. So we'll see what I can get done.
Yeah, that'd be good. I didn't mean to sort of string you up on the case there. I know you're new.
Now I'm gonna have to follow up right after this show.
Yeah, and once again, you know, congratulations on your position inside of Polymaker,
Thank
dude.
You.
You know, you really deserve. I know we jumped on a call, and you know, I've already said this, but you know, congratulations, and you know, keep doing the best you can, and I know you will, and you're certainly the right man for the job. So, congratulations again.
Appreciate that. That was not a paid sponsor, by the way. That was all on him. I didn't pay him to say it. But so now, of course, like you said, you're involved in who knows how many different things. But we'll focus on a couple of them that are coming up that, you know, people are going to be able to witness. Some are going to be able to participate in. Let's start with the Death Racers. How did that start? And you know, just what led to it? And was the growth what you expected?
Yeah, you know, I was literally on a call with Ryan from Offset Maker, because the Offset Maker team are now kind of part of the Death Racers. So you've got Michael Badley, who is the designer. You've got me, that's kind of the whipping boy and the circus entertainer and all that kind of stuff. And obviously promoting with videos and stuff. And then Ryan is obviously going to be doing, and Steve and Kim and Jeremy are going to be doing the support side. And also Ryan's the designer of the Mechanism Racer as well. So there's, you know, it became very apparent that it was going to be more than just me. And as we sort of head into 2025, there's going to be some big changes. But one of the big things that we noticed straight away was that people sourcing parts, it became very expensive for one thing. And also, you know, parts differ. You know, buying things in bulk and being able to ship it out in one big package is certainly better than, you know, trying to people to buy stuff on Amazon and AliExpress. And, you know, we're just getting kind of a mix of materials out of the back of that. Now, obviously, the mix of materials through filament, you know, people have their own choices with that. But ultimately, the way that I was in China. I ended up going to have a meeting with Big Tree Tech about something completely different. We ended up at a cocktail bar, and all of a sudden we were doing handshakes on them putting a bill of materials together for the Pro Drive Death Racer. Roll on a couple of months, and it's now come to fruition. Now, the next stage is, as we've spoken about, is to try and get. So now you can buy a Death Racer kit. It's very easy. It's $180, but the mission for this really from day one is to focus on STEM. So what we wanted to do is make sure that, schools and universities, if they wanted to build a Death Racer and they wanted to go to a Rep festival or an open source or any of those kind of events, that they could do that and it could be super accessible. So my next aim is to get 100 Death Racer kits to be funded by sponsorship for the community. So I wipe away the tears if you just spend $180 on the kit. It is a banger of a price for what it is, because people were paying $400 to $600, getting stuff in a rush. So, but what we're trying to do now is fund 100 Death Racer kits for the Rep Festival. So that will be Mirth, Smurf, 3D Printopia, and the Rocky Mountain as well. And then, of course, we're going to be doing a sort of more of a public race for open source and stuff. So that's kind of the plan for next year. But the bit that we're kind of stumbling on at the minute is how do we get it into universities? People email me constantly saying, any news? And of course, it's just, things don't happen that quickly. And of course, then you've got to look at things like quality and feedback from the community and, all that kind of stuff. So, things take time. And, on top of doing the YouTube stuff and traveling and all the rest of it, I've got a family, I've got a son, and I've got a full-time job as well. So it has been very tricky, certainly over the last couple of weeks, as when you're getting ready for an event that's not just one particular item, it's several.
It's many, and you got to hope that they all come together.
Absolutely. It's very tricky.
So now on the what's that?
Yeah, but like I say, ultimately it's coming to, we've got to talk at 3D Printopia. Myself and Ryan are going to go just sort of talk a little bit about the history. Now, of course, the history was, I stalked Joel Telling at a German event. He didn't know who I was. To be honest with you, I didn't watch his channel before that point, but I realized he was kind of a relatively big YouTuber in that space. And I just went up to him and said, "Oh, how'd you fancy being punched in the face?" And he was just like, "What?" And literally, I just said, "Well, what if we build, what if we built robots and put your face on it?" And we did that. So that's still, if you look at the Death Racer kit today, it's still got Joel's. There's a bit of a homage to him because he was certainly, a fundamental in the launch of that. So. I just wanted to make sure that people are still being credited because, you've even got companies like Lozbot. They were really behind it in the initial stages, but of course their business model's changed now, I believe. So, that they've sort of drifted away. So there's more companies that are going to be getting involved. And what I'm really excited about for next year is going to be the team games. So let's say, for instance, that there are 20 Polymaker kits as a good example. There'd be 20 people that potentially would be in a team across those events. So it might be a team Polymaker, it might be a team Bamboo, it might be a team E3D. And again, those kind of dynamics are going to change significantly inside of what we do, which is, again, I'm really excited about it. And I've been typing up and writing a bunch of stuff on how this is going to look and how it's going to work. But again, getting that over the line and making a video about it is certainly a challenge. So maybe I need to do something more like this, just an open forum thing, and just
there you go.
Yeah.
Just hop on, talk to somebody that pretends he knows what's going on.
That's it.
Now with the kits, of course, I know you said you worked with Big Tree Tech.
Yeah.
Are they developing a lot of the parts, or were they just able to use their connections where they're at to kind of source out things and get it put together?
Yeah, absolutely. So right now, at this point in time, they are going to be using their own connections, but when we move into the Mechanism Racer. So this is for what we call the Pro Drive. So this is going to be using traditional 550 motors with gearboxes. So if you're ever into radio controlled cars, you can either have a DC motor or you can have something with an ESC. Now, the first version of the Death Racers had like Pololu motors. And what would happen with those is if they get too hot, they just burn out and they melt internally. With the RC ones, of course, they're built for purpose. So that's why they're sort of, much better for traditional kind of things like track racing and stuff. So so right now they're doing that, and then we're going to be looking into quite an interesting plug and play board. So basically you'll just get the kit, plug everything into a main board, and they're hoping to have like stepper drivers that are going to be replaceable. So if you've just got two motors, there's two drivers. If you've got four to do the mechanism kind of way of working, then obviously you can install those and have the four there as well. So
yeah. And now, of course, we've seen different iterations of the Death Racers with the plows in the front, some things fun towing trailers. Is there going to be, a lot of people usually ask is, start getting different weapons and things of that nature. Is there a plan for next year to have something more of a guideline, or is it going to kind of stay an open source to an extent?
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot of comments around that, and we are taking them on board. It's not like we're just being ignorant to it. And the fairness factor is, if you've got a heavier racer, then it's probably going to be slower. And if you've got something lighter, then ultimately it's going to be more nimble. But the name of the game is to detach the head of your competitor. So, in order to do that, it's, that's why we have the booms on the back. So really, there are certain things where people have started to creep up, with plows and, various other, there's a tank, for instance, that's got a guy called Gordon's head on it. People were kind of complaining about that, which is, again, it's a fair point, but the name of the game is to detach the head. And, the video that I just made on that, where I think it's Zombie Hedgehog, he kind of goes up over the top of a Death Racer and he takes the head off via complete violence. And, again, it's all about how you detach the head. So if you're going to be, one thing I will tell you, we're doing a thing where there's going to be some jumps and there's going to be some things that you can ramp up over and potentially kind of take other competitors out. So again, there's a bit of a different format. There's a slightly different change. And, again, we still want feedback. So 3D Printopia is going to be a catalyst for that. And anybody, I've had a few people reach out and say, we're not doing it because we think it's unfair because of these reasons. And I was like, okay, well, here's the thing. If you're in a team, you might have one that's fast, you might have one that's heavy, you might have one, you can kind of pick your robot for the particular task. And of course, working in a team, that should be interesting. It's great stuff. That I'm so excited, and Mirth was the first one that we did, and then Earth, now 3D Printopia, they were a little bit worried to start with when I start saying, hey, we're going to do this thing, it's called the Death Racers and it's about this, and they were like, what are you even saying? And now they've embraced it massively, and like all the other Red festivals as well, it's it's one to certainly attend and be part of. And
then I know I don't want to throw too much out there, but are the 10 going to be able to make it to the event? Are they still going to be there? Okay.
No, so the idea is to have some public made robots as well, Death Racers as well. So they will probably be kind of an inside track. So if somebody just wants to try it and understand what the dynamics are and how it works and all that kind of stuff, that will be available in 2025. So you'll find that we'll be shipping those to all of the Rep festivals coming, starting with, I guess, Rocky Mountain would be the first one. So
okay. Awesome. Well, I look forward to it. I know I got to play with them a handful of times, and yeah, they're a blast.
It's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun.
Especially when you go into the destruction. I just drove them around the events. I didn't go fight. So the destruction part's going to be the most fun part.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
So then, of course, we talked about the Death Racers. The next one up that I love, I have all the parts, well, most of the parts here, the tiny bike.
Yeah.
I fell in love with it the first time I saw it. I know it's seen different iterations. Where did that start, and where do you think it's going, or where do you plan for it to go?
Well, that was one of my sort of silly ideas. We were in the middle of designing a go-kart, 3D printed go-kart, that can do 60 miles an hour and basically do a world record attempt. And in doing so, we realized that there needs to be a way of printing that takes how can I put it, that basically strengthens certain elements of going that fast and possibly going into turns, etc., etc. So we started working on a bike because we thought, well, that's a smaller way of working. And if you notice on the bikes, you'll see that there are bits that you kind of plug into each other and then you glute them and then you ultimately, screw into them and stuff as well. So we just wanted to make sure that we had elements there that were going to be, strength inducive. And as you saw with Nick and Sean, you know, that was £400 on a PLA bike, which was, it shouldn't have worked. You know, we were expecting it to break. It didn't break. It still is somewhere in the world. You maybe can tell me where it is at the minute, but
Yeah,
you know,
somewhere.
I believe there might be a peak one coming to 3D Printopia, possibly.
So the price of a car, okay.
Yeah, so we'll wait and see what they've printed that in. But again, you know, this was just a kind of silly idea. And again, we're always looking at, you know, how do we get a kit? How can we reduce the price? How can we reduce the weight? What materials would be more appropriate than PLA? Because PLA is probably not fit for purpose for that kind of thing. But
Yeah.
we just wanted to try that, and it's been enormously successful, which is brilliant. But again, the go-kart is still in the works, and we've also got an amphibious vehicle that we're working on as well. So yeah,
So much more to come.
it's yeah. I mean, again, these ideas are sort of throwaway ones. So I go, hey, what about the world's smallest bike that folds and it's an e-bike and we can do all these things? And then you know, I have a chance meeting with Rev Robotics. They were at open source, and we built up a good friendship with Greg, one of the CEOs down there. And he's like, this is amazing, and they're just starting out in their journeys on 3D printing. And the conversations we've had are things like, you know, we're trying to get to the same place or the same endpoint, but we're ultimately doing it in different ways. And I think that's, you know, I think you've got to take a little bit of that with a pinch of salt and understand that other people are also trying to get where they're going. And sometimes that's the same place, but it's quite okay for people to do it differently. So, yeah.
And you're trying to kind of taking the template from the Death Racers of where they're at now of, you know, the kit. So everything's universal, you know, it's easy to troubleshoot, easy to help. Are you working with Rev Robotics, right? Because I know they did a kind of a kit.
For the big Death Racers, it's also got Rev Robotics inside of those. If you saw the XL ones that were at Mirth, which I'm sure you did, they've got Rev Robotics stuff in them. But again, you know, they're expensive. It's you know, it's a first robotics platform. They are very expensive motors. You know, a bike's easily going to cost you probably $500 to $600. It's not cheap. It really isn't cheap. But you know, once we've got these designs and they're out, and you've seen the iterations, we've had a single wheel, now we've got a dual wheel, dual motor. How much faster can we do it? Again, 3D Printopia is going to be once again one of those things where, you know, we're going to overvolt that. And Ryan, if you're watching, I need to talk to you about the overvolting that we're talking about. And again, you know, how fast can we make these things before somebody gets hurt? And it's likely to be me. So
now what's do you know what the fastest you've been in one yet, or on one, I should say?
I think 12 miles an hour, I think is what somebody got recently. I believe that the red one was slightly faster than that. But we've also got Vortex motors, and they're a little bit more torquey. So we'll wait and see. I mean, we've got somebody with a radar gun, and they're going to be basically kind of zapping us as we come down the 3D Printopia hill.
Oh, okay, so, the slope.
Yeah.
So now, is there much? Because I've ridden one of just on flat, solid ground at Murph, but is there a death wobble at all at certain speeds, or is it pretty stable?
Well, we're gonna have to wait and find out, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Now, is there any events or anything centered around the tiny bike for 3D Printopia? Is it more just they're gonna kind of be there to kind of see and have fun with outside? Because I'm sure they're not letting it inside, right?
You might witness the very first outing of the Tiny Biker Gang, which will probably be doing its tour around the facility on Saturday. Again, you know, I fly in. I was just talking to Ryan, and I said, hey, this is what my Thursday looks like. So I start at 6, and then I do all the things I need to do in my day. I fly out at 4 p.m. I get to Maryland or Baltimore at like 7 p.m. and then we start filming. So we're doing a whole big kind of skit before the event starts. We have to do it the day before because we'll have the bikes and everything's fresh. And yeah, again, you know, we're just trying to make cool content and just mess around and just have some fun, and you know, that's what it's really all about. But in regards to, you know, this is kind of how things turned out with the Death Races. Is like, well, what can we do? Could there be a speed challenge? You know, probably. I think people get quite competitive, and this is one of the reasons why I love doing stuff in the US, because the US, the British audience are like, oh, well done, you've taken a head off. And the Americans are like, the shirt's off and it's going around the head. And, yeah, it's a very much a can-do attitude. And it resonates with me, and I appreciate it immensely. So, yeah.
Definitely excited. It's going to come up quicker than we know it, for sure.
Yep.
Which well, if anybody's got any questions for Sam, we'll move to community questions here in a minute. I know Sam, it's what time is it? Is it 12:48 there?
It's nearly 1 a.m.
Yeah. So
yeah,
I appreciate you coming on the show, especially with the time. I did offer him a pre-recorded option. His energy is good for a live audience, so I'm glad that that's what he accepted. But you guys got any questions, YouTube and Twitch? I'll watch for those. But is there anything that you yourself are looking forward to? And of course, the community and things like that at the 3D Printopia. Any certain things that you're looking forward to seeing there or participating in?
Oh, I mean, the Derby races has always been a thing that I wanted to be part of, but we never really kind of got around to it, because obviously you know what it's like. I mean, there's so much to do. I mean, I'm quite fortunate in the fact now that, the Offset Maker guys are now basically mirroring what I'm doing here in the UK. So if I build something here, they're going to be building something there, again, thanks to Polymaker and Prusa and various other companies that have kind of jumped on board with that. But it seemed a little bit pointless for me to keep shipping stuff or traveling with things in my suitcase where it could be already made out there, and we can just turn up and just kind of use it. So there you go. But I just saw a question about the biker jackets. Ryan is already on that. There's already t-shirts. There's already a whole bunch of stuff that's already there. So yeah, it's going to be good.
So it's going to be fun and some good content, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. But no, so in regards to the go-kart, the 60 mile an hour go-kart, the deal with that was that we were going to build one that would do 60 miles an hour. I think the motor in it was something like 14k. It was some horrendously quick motor, but we obviously wouldn't be putting those into kind of general public hands unless they really want to, because we'd want to do stuff at Mirth and stuff. So I don't know if you saw the other building. So they've got a second building now at Mirth, and that's going to be used next year for us to do this, dragsters and death racers and quadcopters. Any of that kind of stuff will be done in the second building rather than, being cooked to death outside or being rained upon. The second building is going to be basically utilized for that. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Nope, exciting. And it's a decent sized building, too. And I think it's perfect size for those events, for the races and the death races and everything else. So, and it'll be a good little thing to tote around in the bikes.
Yeah, so I'm also doing a talk with the droid builders at 4 p.m. on the Saturday. I think it's the Mid-Atlantic Builders Group. They invited me last year. They reached back out again, and they said, "Oh, can you get involved with this?" And I'm absolutely 100% happy to. I'm still on the committee in the UK. I'm still building droids. There's one literally just here that we're kind of working on at the minute. Again, printed in mostly Polymaker filament there. And hopefully I'll get some time to maybe finish that off. So yeah,
maybe in the next year or so. But it sounds like your next month is just a tad bit busy.
It's crazy, mate. Honestly, I would love to dedicate more time to this, but I am literally at capacity. So yeah.
Oh yeah. Let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss anything. About the racers.
Ryan's just messaged me to say to calm down. This is me after one coffee, Ryan. Wait until I'm out there and we've had a couple of cocktails.
Yeah, just imagine if it wasn't 1 a.m. for him right now.
I know, right? I know. God.
Oh. So yes, I think I don't see any that I missed about the racers. I think we pretty much covered kind of what you're involved with currently, and so other than that, we'll get the rapid fire question here in just a minute. Is there anything other than the tiny bikes and the death racers, or any other projects that you're either working on or plan to be working on that you can talk about right now, or there's a lot of hush hush behind the curtains?
No, absolutely not. We're you see the someone just mentioned about the carrot, which is here. That's a 500% carrot that was built on the Elegoo Orange Storm Giga. Then the top part was then built on the Prusa XLs. We're looking at doing a 2.5 meter carrot that my son can get inside of, kind of like a playhouse. So if you imagine that, but really big. But one of the things I saw about the Orange Storm Giga is that I don't really think it's practical to print more than about 30 to 40 centimeters. I think that's
really?
really where you want to be at. Yeah, because I just think you're going to get. I think there's too much risk. You know, if you're going to be trying to print something that's the meat, yeah. Again, you know, filament is expensive, and you know, I hate wasting filament. I hate wasting filament. So, you know, if we can do that. So there's a project that we've got we're working on at the moment. I'm waiting for the designs to come out. The Orange Storm Giga, again, you know, it's a problematic printer. They haven't quite got it working the way that it really needs to be kind of idiot proof. So I've had like a nozzle bung up. I've had a few little issues, but we got ahead of that, and they already sent me another nozzle, and we're back to working with it. But it's one of those printers that I think you'd probably be okay for a couple of weeks, then something will go wrong, and then you've got this massive machine in your house or your warehouse or whatever that's going to be sitting there redundant for several weeks while you then source the next load of parts. So it's a bit of a shame, but again, the filament's there thanks to Polymaker, and you know, we'll be building that as soon as we can, and you'll probably see that almost definitely at Smurf next year.
And you have a plan on what material you're going to use? Are you going to do something for outside use, or is it going to be more inside use?
It's all for inside use. It's going to be PLA. I've already got the filament. It's already here.
There we go. You have that. You just don't have a poly dryer. So
exactly. I mean, the thing is, what I would say about that is that I go through filament so quickly. To be honest, it probably would be wasted on me. But I'm happy to take
you wouldn't have to dry it unless you really had a problem with it.
Yeah.
Okay, which we'll move to rapid fire questions, and then I guess you can probably go to bed.
Wow, thank you so much.
So the first one is always easy. Well, I guess it depends, but this is what's your favorite color or effect filament? So like galaxy or just a flat red, or what's your go-to?
You know, I Polymaker teal. I know it's such a cliche, but most of my stuff, if I'm printing any, I kind of since being a partner with you guys, it's always been a thing that I want people to instantly recognize something that I've done and what filament it's in. So, you know, a lot of the Death Races initially were always printed in teal because I wanted people to go, oh, right, yeah, it's Polymaker. So
instant brand recognition.
Yeah, and you know, this is it is what it is, right? So
teal, you know what, I did my accent walls in my filament room in Polymaker teal, so so I know all about it. Next up, what is the print that you are most proud of?
Print I'm most proud of? Oh wow. Oh, can I show you? Can I? So
absolutely.
It's a new one. Let me show you.
It's gonna be a benchy, guys. Just you wait.
Yeah.
Oh, is that a full model?
So this is a PA1 maker.
Oh, PA1 maker. Okay, yeah.
For Halloween, and there's a ton of different filaments on this, but the majority is, of course, Polymaker. But we've got Glow in the Dark, which was like a bamboo filament. And we're going to light this all up. It's not quite finished yet. I'm still printing a few little bits and pieces, but it's a big print. You know, that's taken several build plates and stuff. So this right now is something that I'm immensely proud of, and you know, getting it over the line and actually completing it is before.
Especially with the time you have usually to sit and actually build something like that. I'm sure it doesn't happen too often. Now that center window though, is there? You said it's not lit up right now.
No, it's not lit up right now.
That center window is super bright, at least on the camera.
Yeah, it's probably the lights reflecting in here, to be fair. But banana bowl, which is nice. And then I went to Prusa, and there's a guy there called Prusa Guy, David Prusa Guy. So this is Sith Jar Jar. So we haven't painted it yet, obviously. So we've got a load of paint and a load of filling and stuff to do. But we kind of had this kind of friendly challenge, and he was like, "Oh well, if you do this, and I'll do that, and I'll do this." So the XLs now are just printing big. This is I think this is a 450. So Wexter's model, of course, blown up, and yeah, we'll see how that comes out. But you'll see that at Smurf. So
awesome.
That'll all be painted up for that. So yeah, I mean, and aside from the droids, the droid that was in the movie had a 3D printed dome. You know, that was printed on the end of no, it wasn't the CR10S5.
Okay.
It was a rush job, it had this was way before Polymaker was about, but it had this horrendous pink filament that cost, I think, $9 a roll. And I just needed to do it quick and dirty.
Get what you pay for.
Yeah, JJ Abrams didn't want R2D2 domes, so he was like, "Can you do something else?" So I did an R6 dome, which might mean nothing to anybody here, but an R6 dome from Michael Badley Patreon, and we got it in the film. So it was like a brother and sister droid combo, and yeah, that was 3D printed. It cost me, I think, $30 to fabricate, and then we sold it at auction for 10 grand. So, you know,
now if we could just get the return on investment on all of our prints that way.
Incredible.
Good little gain.
Incredible.
Well, all that actually leads up well to the next question is number one best Star Wars movie.
Oh God.
Might make some enemies here.
Empire Strikes Back, I think, for me.
Okay. Going
Yeah.
classic. I like it.
Yeah, I mean the weird thing about the whole Star Wars saga was that, you know, obviously I'm an 80s kid, so I grew up on Star Wars. It was there, it's always there. And then to get to work, you know, the weird thing is I never really give myself credit for stuff, but I worked really hard to get in and do what I needed to do to get into the film. And you know, rather than 3D printing all the time, I was work trying to get this droid done. I built a couple of droids, as you know. One, the R2D2 here is used for press junkets and TV work and all that kind of stuff, which again we're still active with. But the one for the film, you know, I wanted something really specific. So yeah, you know, I'd probably say the dome. So yeah.
Okay, and then excuse me. Whether it be food, snacks, you know, everything else, U.S. food or European food.
Oh, U.S. food. It's got to be pancakes, right? It's got to be the pancakes.
Is that your killer thing right there? Is if you're coming to the U.S., no matter what, you are going to have pancakes at some point.
So as I said, we've got the Share Fest coming up. That's on the 12th or 14th of October. Now I get in on the 9th, okay, and Tripod's picking me up, and we're going straight to what we call the dive bar. They do an amazing burger there, so I'm literally straight off a flight into this bar. We play pool, American pool. It's a bit different to the European pool, but and we do that, and then we go to Brianna's Pancake House, and then we have pancakes the next day. So I'm very much looking forward to that, and you know, I think you guys don't know how good you've got it. Put it that way.
My stomach knows well how good we got it. And then last but not least, if a tiny bike had endless power, where would you be willing to take it for a road trip just solely on the bike? And maybe how far?
How far? That's a really good question. I guess it's got to be Route 66, right?
Oh, there you go. You know, classic drive. Try to drive the whole thing.
I mean, I don't know how the TPU would. I don't know how the TPU would. I mean, there was a thing with. Are you familiar with the YouTuber False Hammer? He does like Warhammer and a bunch of other stuff. And we called each other, and he was like, we really want to do a collaboration. Can we do something? And there was another YouTuber that did. He was trying to get from London to Paris on like an e-scooter, and he'd have to go into shops and charge it and all that kind of stuff. So maybe something like that, a challenge like that might be quite interesting. But again, finding the time and being able to film it, that's one of the, you know, film it well as well. You know,
a lot of logistics to it all.
There really is. I mean, we were talking about staying in line with the tiny bikes. There's a possibility about it being a tiny boat and then going across the river in Prague. Obviously, Prusa is not too far away from that, so we could effectively build these things, ship them out there. And then maybe at Prague, make a fair, we actually cross the river. So there's a thought there, but again, you know, you have to mobilize people. You have to have enough people out there to be filming it, drone footage, all that kind of stuff. And you know, if the cops come, then the cops come, right?
As long as it's, you know, you're halfway through across the river, then what are they going to do?
Exactly. As long as we've got the shot. As long as we got the shot, I'm happy.
There you go. Yeah, what's a few weeks in Prague jail?
Exactly. It'll be fine. Joe will get us out.
There you go. I'm sure he's got some connections around there. Hey, well, I think that is all I got for you. Is there anything that you want to plug, pitch, throw out there? It's your stage right now.
Always. No, not at all. Yeah, listen, you guys keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job. You're absolutely killing it in the marketplace. I'm proud to be part of this. Really am humbled and really proud to be part of the whole thing. You guys and Nick in the the formation of that have afforded me to be able to do the things that I'm doing, and I will always be eternally grateful for that. So thank you.
Awesome. Well, thank you for everything you do for us and the support. Look forward to hanging out with you here soon and 1 week, and maybe we can go find a pancake house around Bel Air, Maryland.
Oh, baby. Yes, please.
Well, have a good night, and thank you very much for coming on the show.
Thank you, guys. See you next time.
See you, Sam.
Bye for now.
And that is it for the show. Sam Prentice, just a stand-up individual. If you guys haven't met him, if you're going to 3D Printopia, obviously he will be there. Go say hi to him. Dude is just awesome guy. Good company. So thanks again for coming on the show. Now, as for this show, we are here every Thursday. We are here every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard, and that is going to continue. We're at 28 episodes in now, I think. So next week we are going to be back. We're going to have another maker. We're going to have some different things going on. May or may not have a live questions for community for various reasons. I'll be traveling, but there will be a show. If you guys like what you see, definitely come back and watch it. Other than that, as always, we like to mention 100 projects we're in, and I can't even mention half of them. But Polymaker Figurines, that is led by Antoine Dimensions, and he is printing a new Pokemon every 2 days out of the first 151 iterations and evolutions, I guess you should say. And he is booking them out. I think he's close to 100 or over 100 now. And when he releases those videos across Instagram, TikTok, etc., those models become available for download on Maker World for free. So you can download, print them yourself, print them smaller, print them bigger, whatever you see. They are already pre-colored, or you can just do a solid color. So those are, again, available every time that the videos are put out. Polymaker Education is coming back very soon. That is led by Create6 Brit. A lot of cool models. I've now been able to work with them a little bit and seeing kind of the background, what's going on. And there's a lot of research that goes into this. It's not just a print a piece and present it and say you can do this with it. So she's got a lot of stuff going on with it. That is going to be coming back soon. So make sure if you're not already following there, it is Polymaker_education. There will be a booth there with some information, everything of the project. I say there, 3D Printopia is what I'm talking about. But again, she is going to be having those videos come out, and it's kind of the same thing as once those videos come out, the model becomes available free to download on the account, the Polymaker Education account. So definitely watch those. And then we have Pezliz, who does our in-printing color. I said it right this week. And that is on Twitch at twitch.tv/Pezliz, and that is every Wednesday. So definitely catch those. She's got a lot of colors still to go over. I know she's done Celestial, and she's done, I think the Neons were just the last one. So definitely catch her. She's fun. She's also going to be at 3D Printopia, so make sure to say hello to her. She'll be out and about. She'll be the one with a super bubbly attitude bouncing around everywhere. So easy to spot. If it's a woman with an Uncrustable in her mouth, it's probably her. So other than that, we're going to get ready to draw here. So if you have not already entered, we have I Am Awesome in chat right now. And that's going to be your chance to win. We're at 59 entries. That's higher than normal when we get to this point. So thank you all for coming. Thank you all for the support. And then we're also going to try to take anybody that's still hanging out, take that support to somebody else, which, let's see who we're going to be going here. Makers and crafting. Let's see what we are building here. So these I've always found interesting. We are going to go ahead and raid out to, and this we'll do after the drawing, of course. Kite Crafter. /raid. Channel's intended. Okay, so the channel is intended for mature audiences, but what they're doing, they're Gundam, and then some Fusion 360. So stay tuned, watch them, show them support and love from Polymaker. But real quick before it does it automatically, we're going to do a drawing at 64 entries, and if you are the winner, then you need to contact me at joel.finn@polymaker.com, or message me, I'm Polymaker Joel, on our Discord at discord.polymaker.com. Kenneth Stang, or Kenneth T. Stang is saying, go ahead and message me, or Joel.Finn, as Builder's Mark just put in the chat. You have won a spool of filament, so congratulations on that. And then again, we will be back here next week. If you guys want to tune in and show some support, always love it. And I will be at 3D Printopia, so come say hi to me and tell me what your name is, tell me what your Discord name is, because I probably won't remember until you say it. So thank you guys all, and you all have a good night, a good weekend, and a good week.